Hello and welcome to this video from Mullet and the Whale. I'm the Whale and today we're going to talk about using GNUcash for keeping poker records. GNUcash is a double entry accounting tool. You can get it free from gnucash.org and it is available for Windows, Mac and Linux, so anybody can use this. This video would be most useful for people who mostly play live, but people who play online can also use it, as you will see. You will use it for tracking all of your poker finances, not just wins and losses. So let's take a look. Now, when you open it, you'll be presented with this blank window with no accounts in it. To set up some new accounts, go up to File and click New File. And we'll get this new account hierarchy set up. Now, if you follow this wizard, you can. It'll give you a few options to pick: your business name, some formattings for numbers like bills and customers, employees. You don't need to worry about any of that stuff. So we're just going to click cancel and we're going to do it from scratch. So in GNUcash or GNUcash, you have three different types of accounts. Well, I think three. You have assets, you have liabilities, and you have equity as well, which is what you start off with basically. And you have expenses, income and expenses as well. So for our first account, we're going to put our assets. Now, we'll call it assets. And this is basically things you own, things you have to hand. It's going to be a new top level account and it's going to be a placeholder. And the type of account is going to be an asset. Okay, so in assets you would put things like how much money you have in your bank account. If you keep any money in cash, you would have an account for that as well. In GNUcash, an account isn't really necessarily a place where money is stored. Think of it more like a category of a certain type for money. So a certain type of expense would be an account. Your bank account would be an account. Cash you have in your wallet, that would be an account. Wins from cash games, wins from tournaments, they would be accounts. They would be income accounts. Losses would be expense accounts. So everything is an account really, but think of it more as just a categorization for something. Now, we'll break assets down further by having current assets. And we'll nest it under assets. And this also is a placeholder. And that all looks good. So here we have. And then, now in current assets, you would put things you actually directly have on hand, like the money in your bank or the cash in your pocket, let's say. So we'll start by creating a bank account. And there are no set rules on how to do this account setup, but this is a way that I found works well for me. Okay, now as you can see, our total assets are 0 because we haven't got anything in our bank account yet. Let us set up another account for cash. Now, I might be going too quickly here, so if we want to make an account that's under current assets, we click on current assets and right click and go to new account, and that will make sure that it's nested underneath current assets. And we'll give this a cash one. I'm not exactly sure what the difference between a bank account and a cash account is, but they do give you that option, but I'm not sure why. Now, you might be wondering how we tell it how much money we have to start with. And in accounting, this will be done through something called an equity account. And we should be able to set it here. And you would have this at the top level. And then nest underneath it as well. And we can have opening balances. And we'll put that in equity. Now, GNUcash is double entry. And what this means is every transaction must be written in twice. GNUcash will automatically put the second entry in for you, but a transaction always involves two accounts. So you can't just say, well, I have £500 in my bank account. GNUcash has to know where that came from. That's the rules of double entry accounting. Now, equity, everything that's in equity is what you started with. So if we double click it, we get this, and we can this is where you put in your transactions. So we can say started off with £500. Obviously, you can use your options to change your currency symbol. Now, transfer is the other account that we want this transaction to appear in. So that will be the bank account. We will increase our equity by 500. And now you'll see that our bank account now has £500 in it as well. And if we click on the bank account, there's that same transaction. Remember, in double entry accounting, every transaction has to be recorded twice. So there we go. Okay, now for something a little bit more interesting. Let's say we wanted to track a particular cash game that we like to play. Now, make this an income account, and we'll make it a new top level account, so we can see at a glance whether we're up or down in total from cash games. And we'll make another account here, and we'll call it whatever, local fishy casino. And then here we can put in an account for wins, which would be an income, and an account for losses. Now it's important here to click the expense button so it knows to subtract them from the account instead of adding them. Okay, so now this number here will be the sum of all your wins minus all of your expenses. So let's say we want to add a win in. Played £1 cash game, which is the local game in my area, and we played with cash and we made £200, let's say. Now, we should save our book before we do anything else. When you save in your books, you actually want to create a separate folder for your books, because GNUcash will create lots of files. So we'll just should have a new folder. Let's see. I'll create a folder here. Books! Exclamation mark. And we can call it whatever you want to, really. Doesn't matter all that much. Okay, so that's all saved now. Now, let's say we play that same cash game the next day. But we lost. So, and this will be an expense, say we lost £30. And then, now if you notice this, once we saved our books, this save button is available whenever we change or add a transaction. So always make sure to click it. And now you can see that assets, well, we should be on, now we've already made a mistake. And when I say we, I mean I. But what we've done is this £30 loss has come from the bank account when we wanted it to come from our cash balance. It's easy to fix. All I've got to do is come through here, and you see this is our mistake here. We set the transfer to bank account, not cash. So we change it there. If we change it, click save transaction, and there we go. So we've still got our £500 cash in the bank and £170 in cash on hand, which makes sense because we didn't give ourselves any cash to start off with, and we've made £170 from our casino. Okay, if you were doing tournaments, they would be done in a very similar ways to we've done cash games. You can break it down however you want. It's really simple. One other thing I will say is how to deal with miscellaneous expenses. So you make a top level account for expenses, which would be an expense account, and then you can put more categories in this as well. Let's say for food, for example, if you're eating at the casino, or for transport, taxes, tips for dealers or waitresses. They can all be put here, and you can break it down as much as you want or as little as you want. Like I said, there's no real rules on how to do this, but you just want to have something that works well for how you visualize your finances and how accurately you want to be able to analyze them later. So food is easy to do. Bought a steak. It was nice. You don't have to put the silly comments in. You can be as descriptive or as non-descriptive as you want. You ought to have enough information so you can figure out what the transaction was. Let's say we paid for this out of our bank account, and it was £15. And there we go. So now you notice it doesn't show us negative 15. It shows us positive 15. It's a positive expense. So it says in expenses, we don't have negative £15 in expenses. We spent £15, so we have £15 in expenses. It might not make sense straight away, but the more you use it, the more you'll get used to it. Obviously, we're expecting our bank account to show a balance of £485, and there we go. And there is our stake transaction. Okay, one last thing I would say, if you're somebody who gives loans out to friends or people or other players, anybody really, a loan is still an asset because it's money that is owed to you. But it wouldn't go under current assets because it's money you don't have to hand. So I'll show you how to do that quick. If we right click on assets and click new account, and we can make an account for loans as well. And then under loans, we can create an account for a person, Mr. Deadbeat, who probably isn't going to pay you back. And let's say we loan him £20 in cash. Loan Mr. Deadbeat £20. We click the transfer, we'll find his name, and we spend £20. There we go. So notice that this still shows as an asset to us. It's still in our favour, but it isn't our current asset. So you notice our current asset is £635, but our entire assets are £655, which reflects that we have £655 worth of assets, but only all but £20 of it is available in cash and bank. And the other £20 is in the form of a loan outstanding that we have to Mr. Deadbeat. Okay. That pretty much wraps up the basics. There is quite a lot you can do with this. You can do income statements to work out how well you did over a given time period. Might go into that in another video. But play around with it, and if you come up with any ideas or if you think there's anything I've missed, drop us a comment and I'll see what I can do. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.